Hi guys, welcome back to the barn build, and in this episode I'm going to be making some new doors for this opening. So originally these doors didn't come from these openings, they came from the part of the barn that was demolished just back there, and I put these on temporary about 16 years ago, and even though they're relatively well made doors, they are going rotten a bit on the bottom, but they're actually just too big. The head clearance is this beam, but because the doors are taller than that, means that we can't get any guttering on the front of the barn, so when it rains heavily it rains on the floor, and then it actually on that side of the barn it actually runs under the door. Once I've made these doors on the front, it actually means I can get a fascia and a guttering on the front. So my height is just over 68 inch, 1750 millimeters, and I'm going to make a pair rather than one single door. So the overall width of the opening is 1515, which is just short of 69 inch. Okay, now I've got that set up. For the doors, I'm using this material, which is the material that's sold to make shutters for the exterior of houses out here. And it's quite good quality stuff. It's tongue and groove both sides. It's 26 millimeters thick. It lays at 90 millimeters wide. And actually, for the quality of timber, it's relatively cheap. A pack of 4 is about 24 euros. The only issue is at 1750, it's quite wasteful. So I've got 640 millimeters left. This will probably end up being shop furniture. Now bizarrely, the pieces that they sell to brace the back of these doors, which are 20 mil thick and 70 millimeters wide, are 12 euros for a 2.4 meters, almost 50% more expensive than the thicker timber. For the bracing, it's actually easier and cheaper to cut these down, if you've got a table saw that is, than buy the piece that is actually designed to do that. One thing you don't see a lot on YouTube is clenched nails. It's actually really strong construction. Drive a nail through from the face of these boards, drive it through that second piece and then clench it over. It does allow for the timber to move a little bit as well. Just looks a bit unsightly, but it's a great way of making doors. But it's certainly a joinery technique that you don't see that much. Okay, so I've just cut a couple of packs up. These are the offcuts. So 9 lays at 800, but I've got to cut the groove off that end and the tongue off that end. So actually that leaves me 31 inch, 790. So 9 it is then. First of all, this beam is not quite level. It's about 3/4 of an inch from one side to the other, out of level. And also, I've got 2 pieces of wood here that's nailed on to the side. It's kind of acting as a little bit of a support. And I'm wondering if I take these off, because these will actually spoil the interior line of the barn once if I take these off now, try, and it's going to be difficult, carve a little bit out of that top corner of that beam in there, and then I can just force this up and then re-block it up. To do that, I think I'll have to take the door off. It needs to come off anyway. If I just get a bar or something under it, it'll just lift off. To you, to me, to you, to me. Timber. That's perfect. That's perfect. I want to make both doors symmetrical. Could actually probably get away with just putting one in on one side and having one leaf bigger than the other, but I'm not going to do that. But basically I'm going to have 800 mil, so I'm probably going to have to cut about 50 mil off that size. So I'm pretty much 180 mil too big, so I've got to lose 180 mil on 4 pieces. So if I cut about 40 mil off, what I'm actually thinking of doing, and it's probably a bit of a cheats way to do it rather than just make 2 doors and then fit them, is actually to make 2 doors in situation. So basically if I cut 40 mil off the first 2, I can actually build the doors and hang the doors as I'm making them, and then when I get to the end I can just fit the middle 2 styles. I picked up 3 pair of these T-hinges when I was at the DIY shop the other day. And I'll set them so that cutout there is just level with the jamb. I'm going to build these quite close to the floor. It's opening outwards and I've got loads of space as it opens outwards. The first piece of wood I cut, and I'm going to stand that against the frame, and I'm going to leave a little gap, and I'm going to get my drill wherever I've left it, and I'm going to put first screw in and just leave about a 3 or 4 mil gap at the side. Again, just using inch eights, and I'm going to do the same on the bottom. Again, just leaving a little clearance down here. I'll take that packing away, and that's my door. Might be a bit drafty, but it's a door. And the next thing to do is put that back in. And that is the start of my door. Right, I'll do the same on the other side. Now we've got them 2 styles hung, I'm going to use these 800 pieces that I cut earlier for the braces. So to do that, I'm just going to cut the tongues and grooves off. $14.75, $7.35 will do then. Okay, so I've done this. It's just really a case of slotting the boards on, apart from the last 2 where I'm going to have to cut them. Carry on putting my piece underneath to maintain that 8mm gap under the bottom, and then just slide the boards on. So I've just cut this down to its final width. Just goes on there like that. So about that then. Right, let's just cut that down. Left these ledges a bit long, that's not a problem. I can sort that out relatively easy. And the gap is just about 1/4 inch there, it just goes out to about 3/8 at the bottom, but that's not a problem because if I've not set the hinges properly yet, I just put some screws in. So I can, once now I've got them, I can just reset the hinges with some proper longer screws that's going to go through the doors into the braces and just manage that gap. I'm just going to cut these excess brace length off here. Okay, I've just cut these off for the saw. So the final thing we need to do, finishing touches, is I need to make some braces to add some triangulation, and they need to be about 900 long. Okay, so that's all the braces on. The last thing I'm going to do this evening, finally place the screws properly. The gap in them, I'm quite happy with that gap there of a 1/4 inch. The one at the bottom, I'm just going to move these hinges out slightly at the bottom and then put some proper screws in to hold them securely. So the probably easiest way to do this is just to get that wedge I've had and just put that in that gap. There we go. Yeah, that's equalled it up. So I'm happy with that gap now. I'm going to put some lats around to form a rebit on the inside later. I'm just going to put these screws in, and I've got another pair of hinges that I'm going to put on where the other ledger is. I've not bought any locking ironmongery yet, so I'll put this old one on for now just to stop the wind blowing the door open overnight. Right, that's it for tonight. Let them dry for an hour or two before bedtime. Well, that's one more job ticked off the list. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see some more of this build where I convert this barn into a workshop, then consider subscribing. And for now, bye.